Well, it's the first day of the fifth week of LCS, with coverage brought to you by Alienware. I'm joined right now by Alphari from Team Liquid to talk a little bit about how things are going now. Just a complete shutout, banger of a game again against Golden Guardians just now. I mean, do you feel like you learn things from games like that, or I mean, what is it like for you in those moments after a game where that happens, where it feels so one sided?
Um, I mean, it doesn't feel great, but it doesn't feel bad either. And I know that if I would lose, then I would feel really terrible. So it's just kind of like a neutral feeling, I guess,
Yeah.
when I win versus like a team that is not good, basically. The game is like super easy, and it's kind of like, well, I guess we won. It's not something that fills me with joy to beat Niles or Golden Guardians, right? That's not why I play. It's just, I have to do it.
It
So,
almost feels like there's no upside there, where it's like you're going to go into that game and you're like, well, if I lose, it's a disaster, and if I win, not the biggest accomplishment.
well, that's just part of competing during the regular split. Best of ones, there's not huge upsides. And obviously, I mean, as a competitor, it feels terrible to lose, even if the losses don't really matter. So, losing feels really, really shitty, and winning versus bad teams doesn't feel too good. But
Yeah.
that's just normal. If I was to win in playoffs or win against C9 tomorrow, then I'm sure I'd be a bit happier. And also, if the game were a bit closer, if they put up more of a fight, then you know I'll probably feel a bit more elated too, right? But as it was really simple, really easy, and it's just kind of like, well, I guess that's my job.
Uh, what? Where would you rank Team Liquid right now? Because I feel like a lot of people are placing you guys really high, even though like maybe in the standings you aren't number one or number two. So I'm kind of curious, for you being on the team, how do you think you compare to the other teams in the league?
I mean, honestly, I have no clue what to think about like every team in the league right now. The only thing I would say is that I expect us and C9 to be the strongest come playoffs in best of fives. I think that's probably going to be us in the finals again, playing each other. But otherwise, when it comes to best of ones and how strong we are, how strong C9 are, how strong TSM are right now, it seems just totally up in the air. I think that we all have a lot to improve on, honestly, but it's kind of hard because I mean, NA meta is like kind of strange compared to every other region, and scrim culture is also kind of strange. So,
Care to explain?
um, well, I think compared to Europe, teams waste so much more time in between scrims. It's really frustrating. And a lot of teams, they will go through a whole draft and then they will leave the draft at last pick, scout your picks, and then they will do the same. This happens like with nearly every team we scrim. And this is just like not really a thing in Europe, right? Like if a team does this in Europe, they'll just be like, well, you lost the game against us. We're only scrimming 4 games now. If you like go through whole draft and then dodge. But in NA, it seems to be the standard that you just like scout picks and scout drafts, which just means that I'm
Why are
sitting
people
there for
dodging?
like
Are they
four
saying like,
turns.
oh, that we have a bug or something? I'm trying to understand what excuse they use whenever they.
No. There's no excuse. They just dodge, and then they just queue up again. And when they have a draft that they like, then they play. And this it's really, I don't know. It sounds really stupid to me. Like maybe they're messaging Jack the reasons, but yeah, that's kind of annoying. And then yeah, any meta, huge priority on picks like Hecarim and Olaf, just kind of more uh, brainless champs. I think that every team in the NA struggles with side laning, us included, although we are slightly better than most teams, but still like we have like big issues side laning, I think. So, you see a lot of like ball comps be more popular in NA because you have to fight. You just have to. Um, so yeah, those would be my main criticisms of NA so far right now. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think us and C9, we are improving. Like our macro, at least personally from TR, like we are slowly getting better. We are like experimenting still with picks. I expect us to kind of like lock down more of the style coming into next week when it's like the playoffs patch next week. We're going to start practicing on. So then I think things will start to have more clarity in regards to, our style. And I think, like I said, our macros be getting better. So we are still finding ways to improve anyway.
How much do you think obviously I've distracted a little bit by what you were saying about NA because I hadn't heard too much before about like the sort of scouting a draft and then remaking. How much do you think that and also the sort of I don't know, passive champions or easier champions to play, that is something that I think even Jizuke has kind of pointed out, so it's like a criticism I've heard before. How much do you think that the stuff actually holds us back when we do go to international events?
Oh, it holds. So I think it probably makes like a pretty solid difference. I understand the drafting for bowl comps when it's best of one, right? You have to win certain games. So just play what's brainless and play what's easy, right? Not what's best or requires, thinking and improvement to actually be good at, because you need immediate wins, right? It's not like best of three, like in China or Korea, where you have more leeway to experiment. So I think that would actually be like the main thing that I would say is like really nice. If there are best of threes, then I'm sure you would see more, I guess, like sophisticated compositions from NA teams, right? And less of just relying on, just go 5 and fight, right? Which I've kind of realized is a trend for a lot of teams. Which obviously, is good as well. Sometimes, depending on the meta, it can be good. Even we do it. I just think that generally there's like a slight lack of side laning. So I would say best of threes would be like the main thing to improve the region, because I think you will naturally then see more variety.
Yeah, but I mean, your LEC is not doing best of threes, right? And so that's, I think, one of the confusions is like, if they can pull out these champions and there's less concern over there, why can't we do the same in the same system?
I mean, LEC is already ahead. Like a lot of the players already know about the sideline, and I think that they just have like more confidence in general too. Like you see G2, they are like a very smart team generally. Obviously they end sometimes during regular season, but
yeah.
They actually like know how to sideline very well. And this forces other teams to actually, learn, right? So I think LEC is just like ahead in terms of a macro sense, and it's kind of hard to just catch up because you have to always focus on the immediate wins rather than, playing what's optimal. And also, it doesn't help that the whole meta from every other team as well is kind of following the same style, where it's just, okay, let's just pick what's strongest for pure, A round. Which again, it's not happening all the time. Like I don't want to be like overly critical or sound like too down on NA.
Yeah.
It's just like one thing I noticed. But LEC is just ahead. Why that is, I don't know exactly. I know they had best of 3 previously. A few years ago I was playing. They obviously have, a much better server to play on. They just have like lots more better players. Like there are like good players in NA, right? But there are like more very good players in Europe.
I just wonder if there was a tone change in LCS in terms of like the approach that all the teams made to competition and the level of competition, because I remember last year I interviewed Jizuke, and one of his frustrations was he felt like nobody played mid lane to like win the lane. It was just like stay back, chill, maybe wait for like a jungler to show up, but for the most part just farm. And so this is something I've heard frequently from LEC pros is like we have kind of these like safe play styles of like play what's OP, play what's easy, don't really go aggressive or whatever. And so it's just fascinating to kind of hear it again, especially at a time when there's so much focus and discussion around like why LCS is not doing well and how to improve the region. So no, I really do appreciate the conversation around that. Other than that, you said you think C9 and TL in the finals again.
Yeah, very likely.
Obviously, I'm sure you're going to say, well, we can do this for sure because we're great. But are you worried at all about making it to MSI if perhaps these guys could block you? Because obviously, right now, it seems like they are. Most people think that they are better than everybody else.
I don't think it's like clear cut that they are better than everyone else for sure. I think that they are going to be the true competition, right? I don't expect any other team in playoffs to be as good as them. Again, aside from us, I think we will be able to challenge them. I think we will. I think we'll win, but it's so early. We have still so much to improve on, and like I said, we have to actually nail down our meta and style, playing on the next patch, the playoffs patch next week. So much is going to change still between now and playoffs, or playoffs, semifinals, finals, etc. Right? So it's difficult to say how strong we're going to be. I can only predict that we're going to be strong and that we're going to be good. And of course, I'm going to do that because I'm biased and I have to say that regardless.
Right.
Although I do actually believe it as well. So.
Fair enough. Anyway, we're a little bit over time. So is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Just, thanks for supporting us. Yeah, I don't know. The game today was a game, but we won. Tomorrow we'll play C9 and I think it'll be more exciting and we'll win too. And, if not, we'll get them in playoffs.
Very good. Well, hey, thank you so much again for the interview. Always a pleasure. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things LCS right here on my YouTube channel. When I walk down the street in a mask, people yell at me and they say, is that gaming god Travis Gafford? And it's always kind of embarrassing. I'm like, I kind of cover the mask a little bit more, try to duck away. But then eventually a lot of people are all yelling about it. And what people don't know is that I would not be the gaming god that I am today without Alienware. You can check them out in the description, alienware.com/Travis10off. It'll save you 10% off your order. And then maybe you can get people cheering your name randomly on the street. I can't guarantee it. There's no promises, right? This is not a legally binding. If there's fine print at the bottom, and there's not, because I don't want my editor to spend time doing that. But if there was, it would say that there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. Look, I just don't want any liability around this. But alienware.com/Travis, Travis10off. Check the link in the description. Use that code, save 10%, and it'll help me create content like this. The video that you just watched, specifically, and the other videos on this channel.